Welcome to the African Utility Week studio. I am Denise, the content manager for Ngerati.com, and this morning, the last day of the conference, we are privileged to have Owen Lock, and Owen Lock is the application manager for energy storage at S&C Electric. Have I got that right? Excellent. All right. How's the conference going so far?
It's been really good. We've had quite a lot of interest in our general product range, and energy storage seems to be the hot topic. We have a couple of, I gave a speech yesterday on an energy storage system designed specifically for single wire earth return systems. Right. So it's quite a unique product, a new application for energy storage. Happens to be the most commercially viable application for energy storage sort of going around at the minute, because the alternative to this is to actually to upgrade a swirl line, which can be quite costly because they're long and long distances between cables. So this particular system was developed for a utility in Australia, and which happens to be the environment that it will be installed in is very similar to the African desert. So it's quite applicable, and we've had a strong interest in the concept, and because the utilities in Africa have quite a strong interest in swirl lines, because they are a method of electrifying remote communities and locations, and doing it economically. So this particular product is very well suited to Africa. I think we'll see a few of them out here before long.
Great. Well, that's pretty encouraging. I mean, how has energy storage? What is the market currently in Africa and in South Africa particularly? I imagine it to be quite a busy one and an attractive one, since South Africa is currently running its independent power producer program.
Yes.
And it's already going into its fourth stage. How are you finding the market at the moment? Is it very challenging, or?
The market in Africa is in its infancy. Yeah. We saw the US really kicked off with energy storage and started this whole game on. Then it really followed through to countries like Europe and Australia, where we're sort of moving towards second and third stage deployments of large-scale energy storage systems. In Africa, it's just starting to kick off. There's a very strong interest in it. Obviously, we have the issues of rolling blackouts and generation deficiencies here in Africa. So energy storage can help fill that void. And I guess the biggest application for energy storage in this part of the world and moving forward in the world in general is, of course, for renewables integration. If we've got the typical scenario is that solar produces power at a time when we don't really need it, and so we need to store that power generated from the solar and actually release that stored energy at a time when we actually need that power. So energy storage is absolutely critical for the uptake and the integration of renewables onto the network. And of course we saw the announcement that everybody's talking about at the moment from Tesla of their energy storage systems that they're releasing to the market. And the interest that this has generated has been it's been very encouraging, because realistically, when's the last time that we saw a public and media hype about a battery? It's been going on for quite a while, but no one's really cared. Tesla's jumped into the arena, and now all of a sudden everybody's talking about energy storage. The terminology that he used in order to really simply explain that if you combine solar with energy storage, it can provide our energy requirements, and it can. We can start looking at it for the first time ever. Really, we can look at a genuine, viable alternative to burning fossil fuels. So, so those sorts of things have really struck a chord with the African group here, and we've had a lot of interest in it. And I think we're really starting to see what's generally considered to be the tipping point in the industry. Prices on PV cells have come down. Prices on batteries associated with energy storage have come down to the extent where this stuff really is commercially viable now. Whereas previously, we've seen a lot of technology demonstration projects and people sort of dipping their toes in the water, so to speak. But now, for the first time, where this stuff is genuinely commercially viable, and the interest is really starting to spike accordingly. So
there does still seem to be a lot of R&D going on. I read recently that Canberra University has taken on a 3-year trial on various different batteries, including lithium ion, and this is mainly the tests are going to be undergoing real climates and sort of real life, trials. As far as the R&D is concerned, you reckon that's still in its infancy? Do you reckon we've still got a long way to go before we find an ideal storage solution for the southern hemisphere and our climates and our needs? Because the climates in the southern hemisphere are obviously very different from those that you'll find in Europe, for instance.
There is still a lot of R&D going on. What we're seeing is still, as with any industry in its infancy, there seems to be lots of parallel R&D going on, whereas lots of different utilities are in essence testing the same batteries under the same technologies. And S&C's been involved with the grid-connected energy storage world really since its inception. And so we have over 25 megawatt scale grid-connected energy storage systems in service now. We've got a couple of hundred smaller scale grid-connected energy storage systems as well. So, and most of the interest has really been in these demonstration trials to date. So we've seen a lot of different people learn the same lessons through this. And what we're starting to see now
instead of sharing the learning, it would probably cut out quite a bit of time.
And we're starting to see the collaboration between the different people in the industry, so that we're no longer seeing the different people learning the same lessons. We're seeing people actually start to build on the knowledge, and which is very encouraging from the energy storage side of things. So the trials that we see where they're trialling a lot of different battery technologies. It's very important because the battery world is moving very rapidly. Every couple of months a new technology comes out which has the promise of completely destabilising the rest of the industry. It really actually happens. But every now and then something does come along which is a real game changer. And that's what we're seeing at the moment. Some of these new technologies are genuinely disruptive, as people are calling it. And one of the things that S&C does is we don't align ourselves to a battery manufacturer at all. Our expertise is in the interface between the energy storage system and the grid, which is really the complex and more difficult side of it. And as far as batteries are concerned, we've integrated with a wider range of battery technologies than any other energy storage provider. So that gives us the ability to have real hands-on experience with how the different battery technologies perform in the field. So we've seen a couple of distinct technologies rise to the top. We see for the larger applications there's the sodium sulfur type technology is still to this day the most proven, highly engineered and effective method of shifting large amounts of energy. And of course lithium ion with its various subsets of chemistries under the lithium ion banner. The prices have reduced significantly really in the last 6 months, 6 to 12 months. We're starting to see the prices come right down. So they're starting to push a lot of, the lithium ion starting to push a lot of these other fringe technologies off to the side because of the flexibility and the suitability for, and lithium ion is generally suitable for a wide range of applications. So it makes it a very, very practical one-size-fits-all type technology. So we're starting to see most of the interest in the industry over the last 6 months or so seems to be steering in the direction of lithium ion.
Now, projects that S&C are involved in at the moment, some exciting things on the cards within Southern Africa or Africa as a whole. Are there any projects that you'd like to share with us?
Not too many that I can talk about, but one thing I can say is the interest is strong.
Good.
Because the industry is in its infancy here, it appears that the renewables integrators and of course Eskom and the utilities are genuinely interested in S&C's experience in the field. So we're getting a lot of inquiries. We haven't actually seen, other than a couple of these research projects that are going on, we haven't seen any sort of large-scale deployment of storage like we have in other parts of the world. But it's following the same pattern.
What do you think is preventing that from happening?
It's probably the uptake of renewables. It's still really in its infancy in Africa, and so as renewables are taken up more broadly, and especially rooftop solar and the likes, and as these technologies are taking up more broadly, there becomes a stronger and stronger need for energy storage. So we're just starting to see that sort of see the curve form now, and we're starting to see the interest really pick up. There's a couple of projects that are on the go in Africa at the moment, which seem to be very good technology demonstration trials, and I think there will be a genuine outcome there as far as the uptake of the technology. But of course, everybody likes to dip their toe in the water before they dive in.
Absolutely.
And we're still at the dipping the toe in the water stage.
It's a lot of money involved, I suppose, and a lot of time and a lot of, I suppose, risk for many.
It is, and it's so genuinely disruptive. It's causing people to think outside of the square. It's forcing people to think about alternate methods of generating your power and utilising renewables and the like. So that's always a slow process, and whenever anything to do with large-scale engineering and utilities, they're big ships that are slow to turn.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, with regards to the conference, as I say, we're here on our last day, and I'm sure you've picked up some really exciting bits of news from various industry players. If you could have a bunch of utilities in the room with you, what would your suggestion be to them with regards to development of their network?
Well,
in the development of their network, what would you suggest to them?
There's a couple of things. One, you need to better utilise your existing infrastructure. Energy storage is the key to doing that, because most of the infrastructure is actually designed in order to serve a small number of peak days per year. We can help alleviate those peak issues with energy storage and get better value out of the existing infrastructure. And secondly, renewables is here. It's the future.
It's not going away.
It's not going away. It's not going to be knocked off the perch by any other groundbreaking technology that's coming along in the next 10 years. It's here. It's real. It is the answer to a lot of these issues. And so the thing which has been holding back renewables to this point in time is the commercial viability of storage, and that the commercial viability always involves the intersection of lots of different lines as far as costs and technology cycles and confidence in the technology. And for all indicators are that those lines have genuinely intersected, and storage is the answer, and renewables is the key to the future.
Absolutely, and I'll have to agree with that. From what I've seen, everyone seems to be quite excited about renewable development and energy storage. There's quite a few booths I've seen that are offering both solutions, and everyone's quite excited about it. So, okay. Well, thank you very much for your time. I trust that the last day is going to be very successful and enjoyable for S&C Electric. Thank you for joining us. And to our viewers, thank you very much for joining us on this interview. Please remember that we do have a number of other studio videos that you can have a look at. Do enjoy them. Thank you.